about Indiana politics from the left side of things. Woo! Indianapolis. What you know. Well, I'm gonna start from a positive note. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start from a positive note. Y'all know me. Y'all know how I like to be. So I want to give a shout out to the Indianapolis City County Council. They're taking steps in the right direction. Okay, I understand that we are not going to solve all of our problems and all of our issues related to law enforcement and the criminal justice system with one Marion County ordinance. But here is a clear example of you guys being in the streets, bringing awareness to situations that are going on around our state. But because of 2019, we elected all the right people to our city county council to take up the issues and create ordinances that reflect the needs of the community. See, we got a 20-5 edge. That's even a veto proof. That's veto proof in our city county council. So this is the step in the right direction. They are adding, with this ordinance that the city county council introduced this week, they will be adding citizens to the General Orders Committee. Now, the police union ain't too happy about this one. The police union, first of all, the first statement was like, you're taking things out of the police chief's hands. Well, first of all, police chief ain't in the union. I'm just saying, they're not. Second of all, the other argument that I kept hearing was, well, how can people who are not in law enforcement work on general orders committees to adopt directives regarding policies on police procedures and things of that nature? Well, all I can say is Governor Holcomb has a whole education committee and there's not one educator on it. And they're going to be deciding policy. They're going to actually be the ones, if he's reelected, that will actually select who your superintendent of education is. Okay, but here's the counter argument. People can read and learn police procedures and policies. Just like that 22-year-old high school graduate who goes through the training academy, a mature adult who does or does not have post-secondary education can read and understand police policies. The other thing to that is, I bet they'll know that when they see a chokehold, it's probably something they shouldn't do. I don't know how much training you need to know about that one. I don't know how much training I need to understand that putting chokeholds on people ain't a cool thing to do. For me, it seems logical, so I don't know how much police training I need for that. I probably just need to be a human to understand that you don't have to treat other humans in an inhumane way. Now, the cool part about the civilians being on the board is this. There's going to be 4 more, and I'm excited about it. It's 4 more. 2 of them will be appointed by the city county council. 2 of them will be appointed by the mayor. That means 2 branches of our government, will add people to the police to police general orders committee that will have some say on what's happening. Now, there's already going to be 3 law enforcement folk. So between 3 law enforcement folk and the 4 civilians, this could be a step in the right direction. But none of this happens. None of this takes place if your protests in the street weren't real. If the pain and the anguish that you were feeling in the streets weren't real. But as I've always said, you have to take that protest politics into policy-making politics, electoral politics. When you have the right people elected that can create the bills, the ordinances that speak to our needs. The power of voting. We flipped seats all up and down Marion County last year. And this is the result of showing up to the polls. Don't you just wonder what else they could be cooking up? Don't you just wonder what else they are designing to try to improve the lives of Marion County folk. This is just the beginning. I'm not telling you that it's going to fix systemic racism in law enforcement or in IMPD. I'm not telling you that because it won't. There's still a lot of work to be done. But this is a step in the right direction. Putting regular, everyday people who understand that being in the chokehold ain't cool, sitting on the board, helping to make decisions. It's the right thing to do. I'm cool with it. I'm glad it's a step in the right direction. If you really don't like it, I'm not really sure what to tell you, but I'll be better knowing that there are going to be some civilians out watching what our law enforcement do, especially since we pay the salary of our law enforcement. All right. I was supposed to have 2 guests on today. Jordan hasn't made it yet, but you know me, I do not like being late, so I went on ahead and started the show anyway. And I'm excited about the guests that I have on tonight. Coming all the way from Southern Indiana down in New Albany, y'all give it up to my guest, Erica Scott Lawrence, who is a candidate running in House District 72. Erica, welcome to Turn Left.
It is wonderful to be here. The legendary Dana Black.
Infamous.
It's legendary.
Well, thank you.
You are doing incredible work of helping us to be informed about the left-leaning, because it really is about education. Yeah. And you are serving as an educator to help bring important topics. You're teaching us, you're teaching your constituents all across Indiana, all across Hoosier land, so that we can be informed and we can understand the ideas that are out here. And that's important. You help us have dialogue. So I'm just happy to be a part of this process with you. Thank you, Dana.
So if you see me over here cheesing and blushing, wait till you hear her story, and then you'll be like, yeah, she said that about me. Yo. So, Erica, you know what? I'm excited about your run. People were telling me about you long ago, and I was like, I don't know her, but I can't wait to get to meet her. I went to one of your fundraisers, and I had a chance to read up on you. But tell the people who you are and where you come from.
Well, I think, my story is pretty regular. I grew up in New Albany. And we are right outside of Louisville, Kentucky. So we're in that, southern part of the state, and had amazing experiences growing up. Wow. My parents are public servants. My dad is a retired firefighter. My mom's a retired teacher, and had experiences that took me to wonderful campuses across our state, even while I was in, middle and high school. And I've been to camp at Purdue. I've been to camp at Ball State, camp at Indiana State. I mean, I've got some wonderful camp experiences, including Hoosier Girls State.
Okay.
I was elected governor of Hoosier Girls State in 95, 96. Okay. So I've had amazing experiences here, and I absolutely accredit that to my public school education.
I love it.
So graduated from New Albany High School, made my way up to Greencastle, and studied for my bachelor's degree at Greencastle at DePaul University. And when I graduated from there, because DePaul has a wonderful environment that is diverse, and I mean geographically diverse. Okay. And so when I graduated from DePaul, I had met these amazing people from Washington, D.C. And they said, hey, come out here. And so I went to Washington, D.C. It's where I began my public school education career, and was a U.S. history teacher there. Finished my master's degree there, went to graduate school, and then decided to return back home to Indiana and continued my career in education. I've worked as a teacher, a school counselor, an assistant principal, and now I work as a principal and a principal of an elementary school. And I've been able to just really capitalize off of a wonderful foundation that was set for me here in Indiana. And that's why I'm running, because I had an amazing public school education. My public school education included a study abroad experience.
Wow.
Okay, I
Wow.
was able to be in France. We have a sister cities program in Montpellier, France, and when I look over my life, the school that I'm a principal of is an international baccalaureate French immersion school.
Okay. Okay.
So think about the things that were happening to me when I was in middle and high school and elementary school here in New Albany, Indiana, would absolutely manifest themselves in my adulthood. And
Uh-huh.
I'm running because I want children who are sitting in Hoosier schools right now to have those same opportunities and those same experiences, so that when they look back over their lives, they can say it all started because I had an amazing public school education.
Wow.
So that's why I'm doing this. I see things going on in Hoosier schools that I'm not really thrilled about,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we think about funding and resources. And I couldn't just keep sitting by and watch this happen. Not when I know what's happened in my life, the
Mm-hmm.
lives of
Mm-hmm.
my own children, and that they have. I mean, my children. I'm not. It's not about them. It's about the experiences that they've had in public school.
Mm-hmm.
That I think they're pretty cool kids, and they're great thinkers. And I want to make sure that we're doing this for the youngest citizens of our state.
And I'm glad that you are framing it that way. One of the things I struggle with, it's like, excuse me, elected officials, do you not remember the opportunities that you had when you were young? What is
Right.
it that you don't want other young Hoosiers to have those same opportunities?
When we think about the funding cuts for arts and music, um, our our children, that exposure in elementary school and middle and high school can profoundly impact not just a young person's life, but our community.
Yeah.
We all want artists in our communities.
Yes.
We want great murals. We want wonderful music. We want concert halls. We want artistic expression throughout our state. And if we start cutting that, and we have started cutting that, what impact will it have in 10, 20, 30 years in our communities? Where
Oh,
will the art
absolutely.
be?
Absolutely. I remember being in my 20s and didn't even have kids, but I had been out of school maybe 10 years, and I would hear on the radio about the cuts coming to public education. And I remember asking myself, don't have children, not in politics. I would ask myself, well, did these people, were they born at 40? Because didn't they remember gym? Didn't they remember art class and how much fun it was and how it actually was the carrot to make you go and do your math class? Didn't I mean they did it was just so devastating to see them have just blatant disregard. But at the time I didn't understand what the ultimate goal was, though. Now I actually understand what the ultimate goal is, which is to have warehouse schools. You have, some schools that are, you know, designed to challenge kids, and you have other schools that are just designed to warehouse kids, and that is unfortunate.
What really concerns me is that we have so many public dollars fueling charter and private schools.
Hmm.
And when we think about private schools in particular, when you attend public school, you don't apply for public school, you register.
Mm-hmm.
You put your name on the dotted line and you say, my child will attend this school district, this school in the fall of 2021. You register. No one's going to send you a reject letter.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to tell you you didn't meet qualifications to attend our public school.
Right.
But a private school, you don't register, you apply.
Right.
And the whole idea behind an application is that you might get in or you might not.
Right.
And public schools are open to everyone. Private schools are not open to everyone. And if you accept public dollars, that means you should be accepting all children, regardless of their disability, regardless of their ability, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of their grades.
Regardless of their
You, as
sexual
a public
orientation, I got to throw that in there.
All of those things, all of those demographics, all of those elements that make us who we
Yeah.
are, we can, a private school can decide that they don't want you.
Yeah.
And they can decide today, they can decide tomorrow. So you may have applied and get in, and then a private school can say, nah, we changed our mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so we now have spent this public money in a school that does not serve all
It
children.
doesn't serve the community. Yeah. Yeah.
It does not fully serve the community.
Exactly. And then now you have, last year, and I talk about it almost every show, but I'm going to keep talking about it ad nauseum because I just can't believe the hypocrisy of it all. Teachers, they had the red for ed. They put on their Republican colors and went begging to our supermajority, please give us money to live on. Please give us the money we need for supplies. Please give us what we need to educate the future of our Hoosier students. And they were ignored. They were ignored. They were like, yeah, whatever. They basically were told, we don't care what you want. Right? And I remember a teacher telling me, well, some of these teachers need to start voting for these Republicans. It was a teacher that told me that. And I hadn't thought about that. It was like, oh, yeah. But here we have this whole supermajority that said, no, we're not going to give you what you need. COVID hits. We want you to go back into what we already know to be a petri dish, which is a school, because kids are germ hoarders anyway. They've always been that way. And if anybody, if y'all don't like the way I termed it, I'm sorry. If you don't have kids and you spend time with kids, you're gonna end up sick. It's just how it is, right? So now we're asking these teachers to go in and risk their lives in this COVID crisis, and we couldn't even give them the little bit that they were asking for. As a principal, as an administrator, and as a teacher, how does that make you feel?
Dana, it is absolutely, when I think about my opponent, who has a record of ignoring teachers in our district, the appeals from the teachers and the educators in our district in regards to resources, in regards to compensation, there has been no response. And we now understand how essential our schools are, and our state opened up schools so that parents could return to work. And are we thinking long-term about the health impact this is going to have on our children and on our staff? And how will schools be able to keep their doors open if staff becomes sick? But these are the people who ignored us. They ignored our pleas for compensation, but now they want us open. They want to honor us and honor the work that we do. And I believe in schools.
Wait. I got to interrupt you, madam. Yeah. Are they really honoring the work, or are they just trying to turn y'all into glorified babysitters so they can get people back to work, so they can stimulate the economy?
I always look for the best.
Okay.
I want to look on the best side of this scenario. And I'm going to say they are honoring the work.
I can't be mad at you.
I laugh all the time and I look at the memes of parents who are educating their children at home, and they're like, teachers are essential. I can't do that. They're hilarious. I've seen some. We're doing a fire drill. If you see my kids running around the house, it must be a fire drill. I've seen the funniest memes on social media in regards to parents educating their children at home. And we also, they've been hilarious. But we also have to remember, it's not even just biological parents.
Yes.
It's grandparents.
Yes.
In my language, I will ask a child, who is the adult that cares for you? Because in this society, you cannot assume that it's someone's mother and father.
Absolutely.
So, but we know that there is an adult, and I don't want to re-traumatize children by asking, where's your mother? Where's your father? Because that can be a re-traumatization for children. If my dad is incarcerated and now I got to tell this lady, well, my dad is incarcerated, that's hurtful. And I don't want to make somebody have to do that.
Yeah.
But I know that even if that father is incarcerated, or if that mother is deceased, there is an adult who cares for you. They might be in the form of a foster parent or a grandparent or an auntie or an uncle, but there is someone that cares for you. So that language is really important to me. So that's why we're going to stay positive and say that they are honoring the work.
See, that's okay. I
And
love it. And you know what? That's the attitude we gotta have sometimes. I criticize because kind of that's my job, but I appreciate the tone that you're taking because you know, hopefully you're right. I want you to be right, and they
I want
recognize
to be
the
right.
value in who you. You guys are the mind molders, of our people. You're shaping the way our world, our future will go, and why we don't honor that. We spend more time on what was the Cardi B? I don't even know who Cardi B is. My people text me every now and then. I'm just saying we spend more time and energy on things that just don't matter, and I appreciate that. But
And
back to the teachers.
this is why I'm asking for the honor to earn your vote. I would be absolutely honored to earn the vote of residents of District 72 because to me words do matter. Leadership matters, character matters.
Absolutely.
And I care about children. I want for every child, every family, what I've been able to be blessed with.
Yeah.
When I served as a school counselor, I know the power of 21st century scholars and what it's done for families, what it's done for young people. My favorite 21st century scholar experience with a young person was helping them to navigate the paperwork paperwork you had to fill out for 21st century scholars, going through that process. And I remember getting a box at my school. A box was delivered to me, and it had come from the Indiana Women's Prison. And I'm like, what is this? Like,
Where'd that come
what's
from?
this? It was my student's mom.
Oh.
She made a quilt for me to thank me for the work that I did with her daughter. And the work I did with her was helping her to get her paperwork together for 21st century scholars, helping her prepare for her interviews, getting her what she needed so she could transition to Terre Haute and be a student at Indiana State University and graduate from Indiana State University. See, the work that schools do, we change lives. We absolutely change lives. And I am asking humbly for votes of people of District 72 because I understand the power of education, the power of family, the power of collaboration and coming together. We must find solutions for our schools. We must find solutions for our families. We are facing a pandemic crisis right now. We know that economically our families are having a difficult time, especially if they are not able to make ends meet.
Yeah.
How do we keep people working? How do we keep them safe? These are critical issues for our families because all politics are local, and the most local you can get is a family.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? I got to interrupt and say, that doesn't usually happen. I'm usually pretty cool, but that was a pretty good story right there. Because, a mother's love is a mother's love no matter what her personal situation is. And if you are liking anything that Miss Erica Scott Lawrence is saying, I have a donate button right on this link. You click that donate button and donate to her campaign. We're going to keep chatting it up, but I wanted to throw that out there because it's those personal stories and that impact that you have on lives. So talk about how you guys, from a school system standpoint, have been handling the COVID crisis. What are you guys doing? Are you doing hybrid? Are you, in school 100%? How's that going for you?
So I am a school principal in the state of Kentucky.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And so a little bit, our policies are a little bit different across the bridge. And so we have all virtual.
Oh.
All of our children are home. All of our teachers are teaching remotely. And we have been doing work that would blow your mind. The people in my team we have a food pantry in our building. We are out here running food, making food runs. Every single one of my learners has a hotspot and a Chromebook so that they are able to connect with their teachers.
Really?
The teachers had amazing professional learning in regards to online instruction. So the work they're doing would blow your mind. It really would. I mean, we went from a brick and mortar teaching and learning scenario to completely virtual, and reading groups. Children are learning to read. The partnership between our daycare centers that have our children during the day. We were talking today about our incentives and what we're doing with daycares, and we've been able to secure a funding partner, and we will have parties with daycares to celebrate the work that children are doing when they are at their daycare center, because that's where many of our kids are. Okay. And how do we reach them? Because they need those adults. Those community partnerships, that collaboration is essential. And in some ways you say, gosh, do schools have to go out and secure yeah, we do. Schools and school leaders are out here making partnerships happen, collaborating with community partners and people who just care about schools and care about kids, so that we are making great things happen for kids in a condition that we didn't ask for, we didn't predict.
Right.
But how are we keeping children safe, healthy, and growing? And that's what we work to do. And yes, it looks different, but we're rocking and rolling the best that we can.
So was there a reason you decided to teach in Kentucky versus teaching in Indiana?
Well, I've worked in public schools in Indiana.
Okay.
And when I recognize the pay difference, the compensation, that's one thing that we've got to think about in Indiana. We cannot maintain a strong workforce in our schools if we do not have competitive wages.
Wow. So basically, let me tell you something. Bottom line is, like you said, all politics is local, and there's nothing more local than your family. You have to take care and maintain your family. But just think about this, Indiana. We are missing out on an amazing principal, an administrator, teacher, guidance counselor, all things that she does, because we're not paying our teachers. This is the example. I live in New Albany. I love New Albany. I grew up in New Albany. But if I want to have a living wage, I got to go across the toll bridge. I if you like me, you know your way around the toll bridge to make it. And this is happening all over our state. God, I mean, this is a prime example.
Around all over our state, every border that we share with a state, you have to look at what the compensation package, and I'm not just talking about pay. We have to look at the premiums for health insurance. We also have to think about how schools are resourced and what resources are we putting in schools. Mental health supports, social workers. When we think about the certified art music teachers, if I'm a certified art teacher and I know that in my county they don't hire elementary certified art teachers, I'm going to find a county that does. Yeah. And our surrounding states have certified art teachers. If I've earned a degree in that, and that's my expertise, that's my professional expertise, that's what I want to do professionally. So people are leaving our state because there are professional opportunities for them in states around us. And then, when we think about what private schools are able to do with our public dollars, private schools are able to have great art teachers and music programs because they are able to take the tuition dollars that they get from the state that they're getting through the voucher program. So they are able to offer these experiences to children. And we talk about school choice, and I'm gonna tell you, I can absolutely be down with school choice, but it's not a choice when one school has these amazing resources and another school doesn't. Right. That's not a choice. That's like saying, do you want a steak dinner or do you want McDonald's?
But the part that gets me, though, is that there are counties that you don't have a choice. There are these small counties and these small towns, where these rural counties, I should say, not small, they're rural. And you have maybe one or two school corporations and maybe one or two Catholic schools within the county. what do they get to choose from? So you still taking money out of the public schools that still have to have the same amount of resources because they still have to service the same amount of kids, whether it's 50 kids in a graduating class or 5,000 kids. It doesn't matter. It's the same amount of kids, but they have less resources to do it. And that's the part I think, that's what I hear a lot from our teachers. It's like, I'm in a rural county. Our parents don't have a choice, but they're taking money from us anyway.
And this loss of funding tremendously impacts our rural schools. Yeah. So, these are things that really, when I think about young people and the legacy of education and what we're doing to young people in regards to their education today, how it will impact our communities in the future. How are we supporting family wellness? We have young people and families that absolutely need those services, those wraparound services of mental health care. Mm-hmm. How are we making sure that young people have insurance and medical care right now so that they, as we're learning about COVID and the long-term impacts of COVID on young people, what are we doing? How are we keeping, and when I talk about education, I'm not just talking about K-12. I am also talking about lifelong learning. Yeah. I am grateful for the endorsement from our unions because I believe in that unions are those are the organizations that keep our skilled workers highly skilled. They know the technology. They understand the nuances of the work. So do you want the electrician to come to your house who is a part of a union? That means that they are going through recertification and they have access to education and for their credential and their work. Absolutely. I want the best electrician coming to my home.
But wait a minute, Erica. Hold on.
That.
I gotta throw some Repub shade up in here. I gotta throw the shade because you got positive energy and I gotta throw the shade. Republicans in the State House work diligently every day to bust up our unions and keep wages low. How will you work to try to bring those things back?
We absolutely have to recognize what unions do for when we think about holistically the earning power of Hoosiers. We have businesses coming to Indiana because they know they don't have to pay us anything.
Come on.
We have businesses that come to Indiana because they know that they don't have to pay Hoosiers well.
That's it.
And that the place they're attracted to us for that reason. We should be able to earn a livable wage. We should be able to work and take care of our families. It makes no sense whatsoever that you work 40 hours a week and you qualify for free and reduced price lunches. That doesn't make sense. But when you go to neighboring states where unions are strong and great wages are paid, you don't see that. People who work don't want to be poor.
Come on. Oh my God.
Want to be poor.
That is the greatest insult in the world, is to think that people want to be at home lazy for $600 a week.
People go to work, and when we think about the benefit that came to families during the time of COVID and the unemployment insurance, the unemployment funds that were paid. It does, when we think about if people made that money when they were working, because I know I've heard our colleagues in the Republican side talk about people don't want to work because they made more money on unemployment. We should pause. Mm-hmm. We should pause because you should not make more money
on
unemployment.
Tell them about it.
We need to pay people. You should not, this has been a condition of our state for a while, that people can work 40 hours a week. We normally think of a person who works 40 hours a week, that they should be able to afford housing, right? Mm-hmm. They should be able to afford to go to the grocery store and pick up what they need for their family and not qualify for a benefit. So we are at a place now where you need basically 2.5 working people in your household just to make ends meet.
Wow. That is especially if you have kids. Don't add kids to that because
Yeah.
they want to eat every day, Erica. They want shoes. They want to go to the dentist. These kids, they want to do all of that stuff. Eat 3 times a day. What's wrong with them? Yeah, but I think you're right though, right? I absolutely feel you in that we work hard to keep our wages stagnant, and I love that you are down with our union brothers and sisters because they actually are the reasons why we have a lot of the benefits that us non-union people have. You know, those of us that are in I don't want to say corporate America, but those of us that aren't in unions, we are beneficiaries of the hard work that the labor movement has been all about.
And we should want people to continue improving their craft, improving their skill. Especially, when we think about people who are helping us with what we need, when we think about COVID and the training that people need to be safe, what training needs to happen so that people can be safe, they can do their job in a safe and healthy manner, and we can still get those services provided for us that are essential services.
Absolutely.
So when I talk about education, please hear me well when I say I am supporting lifelong learning. I'm supporting K through 12. Let me start. Early childhood education, K through 12 education, our post-secondary options, most especially schools that provide apprenticeship programs, that provide career education, and absolutely the learning that happens through our unions. I'm very proud of my endorsement from the American Federation of Teachers.
You better rack them up, girl. Rack them up, because that means you're getting your message out. I'm gonna switch topics. Just that's what I do because one of the things I try to do is I know that there's not a lot of debates at this level. People don't they're not televising debates between you and candidates. So I try to make sure I ask the questions that if you were in a debate, how you would address them. So I want to turn my attention to infrastructure for just a little bit. I know that you guys are pretty lucky down there in New Albany, Clarktown, Jeffersonville, in that area, which is one of my favorite parts of. Well, the whole state's my favorite, so I can't say that. But talk about right? People in Bloomington be like, "What?" People in Michigan City be like, "What?"
I can be District 72 proud all day. Okay. All day.
I love it. 92 counties for me.
I am a daughter of District 72.
Yeah, 92 counties for me. But talk about the infrastructure needs that are going on down there. I know that they just finished like I said, the toll bridge earlier. There's still some other bridges between Indianapolis, between Louisville and Jeffersonville they want to get worked out. But I don't think infrastructure are just those things. How is the internet connectivity down there? How are the waterways down there? Talk about some of the other infrastructure needs that we must address in that state house.
So District 72, we are home of the Sherman Minton Bridge. And the Sherman Minton Bridge does not have a toll.
Right.
That's one of our bridges here that does not have a toll. However, the Sherman Minton Bridge needs some serious and significant repair. And so the discussion is that, yes, the bridge is going to have to close. We're going to have to close the bridge for a period of time to get these repairs done. Mm-hmm. Now, for a period of time, it will be closed. For a period of time, there will be lane closures.
Okay.
This absolutely impacts our businesses in District 72 because that transportation going back and forth between Indiana and Kentucky is essential. We have many people who are, like myself, who reside in District 72 and work in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. We have people in Kentucky who come to Indiana to buy goods and services. Mm-hmm. So very often when you're driving through in this area, you'll see Kentucky tags, you see Indiana tags, because we mix together all the time. It's a part of this, this community. So when we close that bridge, there are many ramifications there. We have ramifications when it comes to people are going to be forced to pay some tolls that they didn't have to before. Even people in our neighboring districts, our neighboring areas who came to District 72 solely because they could get the free bridge.
Okay.
So but we know that the bridge needs repair, but we are going to have an impact economically when people are not going to be able to come to Indiana and take advantage of our businesses here. When we think about the diversion of money when people are taking they have to go to other areas. So if I have to get gas in Clarksville, I'm not getting gas in District 72.
Gotcha.
So those are things that, yes, we have to think about. But our roads, absolutely. That infrastructure piece, when you talk about broadband, we have lots of kids here, and it was revealed through virtual education that they did not have internet access to be able to participate in online learning. Mm. And right now, we are technology and internet access. It's not a luxury anymore. No. It has turned into a utility.
Yeah.
And broadband high-speed access is necessary. Otherwise, you're losing connection. You're missing out on opportunities. I mean, at this point in time, when people interview for jobs,
yeah,
you're interviewing, you can't get a job if you don't have internet access right now.
No, you can't. It's hard. It's
so it is absolutely a utility that Hoosiers all over our state have internet access. And I know, we've had children, that has been a barrier for Hoosier children right now in regards to education. And we know that if it's a barrier for Hoosier children, it's also a barrier for Hoosier adults.
Yeah.
And working Hoosiers, what are they doing to be able to connect? How are we retooling people and giving them the skills? We spoke earlier about, some of our more senior Hoosiers who may not be as tech savvy. How do we help them navigate this space? We have created some hubs. So, for example, you go to the public library in New Albany, and if you come into the parking lot, you can access the internet in the parking lot of the library. You can access the internet in the parking lot of a school. However, you've got to have login credentials, so students can go into their school parking lot, but just general adults cannot. You've got to have a login, and the public library does have access for that. But when we think about public housing areas, they absolutely need internet, broadband, high-speed access so that they can be connected, because we're going to see a technology divide. We've already started to see it.
It's been there. And as someone who works in technology, the technology divide has been around for about 20 years. It really has. I mean, it's just, again, COVID has pulled the rug off, and everybody can see the man behind the curtain now. It's like everything's been a mess for a long time. I remember Reverend Al Shop, because people don't listen to Reverend Al. They think he's the crazy uncle, but he's been talking about how the technology divide for years. He's been writing about it and talking about it, and because technology is one of the big economic drivers of the future, and if you are not plugged in, literally, you're gonna get left behind.
Just that simple question of what's your email address? I don't have one. If you don't have an email address, you have limited yourself for so many different opportunities. And we have people who still do not have an email address. And so that community education is essential. How do we help people in all areas of life be able to develop some technology, some digital literacy?
Oh, I like that. I usually, when I get a chance to talk to young sisters, young Black women, I talk about the importance of being involved in technology, and not just, these kids, they pick up the device and they become end users real easy. Now that you're an end user, start developing. What do you see about that technology that you would want to improve on? Are you a good artsy person? You can be the web designer. You can be the graphic artist. And I try to because a lot of times in our communities, we don't know what opportunities will make us successful. We only see the glamorous things because that's what the tube shows us. But to be an engineer, or like my best friend, an accountant, they have accounting conferences. I can't imagine how much fun those are. But she says they're a hoot and a holler. I don't know. I don't know, but we have to keep encouraging these young folks to see opportunities where they are, and if you're not plugged in, and you're part of it, and you're in that gap of that divide, It's hurtful, man. It's hurtful. Sometimes I even forget how privileged I am. Like,
Hmm.
I know the demographics that I sit in are marginalized, but I also recognize that I had a different upbringing. I had different opportunities. I was connected in different spaces. Sometimes even I forget. And I think that's why it's important that we have these conversations about, how we fill those gaps. All right, gotta hit it because every one of your constituents I know are talking about this and they are concerned about it. Indiana's healthcare system. What do you see? What are you hearing? And what do you want to do differently?
Well, just as the saying that we have a teacher shortage in Indiana, we also have a nurse shortage.
Mm-hmm.
And the how we're able to keep medical professionals in our state, well, we've got to keep them here.
Yeah.
And also, we have to understand that our state does not just consist of urban centers.
What?
How do we get health professionals throughout the entire state so that people have access to health care?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we make sure that you asked me earlier about infrastructure. We got to think about the infrastructure of hospitals.
Come on.
Because I don't know about you. I don't want to walk into a hospital that looks like it was built in 1950.
No.
And if I start looking at, you don't have any, where's the computers?
Right.
Where are the devices? Medical technology is changing rapidly.
Yeah.
And we have to have the infrastructure in our medical field so that when we go to the hospital, when we need medical care, that we know that we're getting access to the best. And it doesn't matter if you shouldn't get the best medical care because you live in Indianapolis and that's where all the medical professionals are.
Right. That's right. That's
We
right.
got to make sure that what are we doing to keep nurses here? What are we doing to keep medical professionals here? That includes doctors, that includes nurse practitioners. Those are very real issues.
Mm-hmm.
And how we, not only because we can grow them, our universities are
Got some of the
producing,
best.
but they don't stay.
No. And
So what do we do?
And I didn't mean to interrupt that, but it's just so interesting to me. Like you mentioned it, and I appreciate it because no, you shouldn't have to be in Indianapolis when we have 92 other counties to get good medical care. And it just is, to me, it speaks to the fact that we have these elected officials who are not actually looking out for the constituents that they are actually getting their votes from. And I don't understand that part. Why do you continue to support people who are not actually fighting on your behalf in your district? I'm sorry, I had to get that out.
So what I need viewers to understand that the people that I want to fight for, I want to fight for families. I want to fight for family wellness, not only emotional wellness, but their financial wellness, their economic wellness, that they are able to have jobs that take care of their families, that they have access to great educational opportunities and lifelong learning so that they can in turn take care of their community through their skill and their work, and they can take care of themselves and their families.
That's it.
I'm a champion for our schools. I'm a champion for our families. Those are those elements of our community that we have to support. I'm an absolute champion for our businesses and our economic infrastructure.
Talk about it, because they think we don't care about businesses.
One thing that I love about New Albany is that we have amazing businesses here. We have small boutique shops, and we have great big factories and companies that do great work. Beach Mold and Tool. I mean, we have amazing big factories, businesses that do amazing work that keep our District 72 people employed and who produce great products for our consumption. So we have to take care of our businesses. We've got to make sure that people are able to get small business loans so that they can start businesses. We have these creative young people and they have these wonderful ideas. So now they should be able to get the funding to bring their ideas to life. And then we will patronize them. because they're daughters and sons of our district and of our community and of our state. So we have got to make sure, especially when you vote November the 3rd, you need to vote for somebody who is serious about making sure that businesses have what they need, because all of our businesses have had to change their model, change their operating procedures. And so we don't want businesses collapsing because they did not have what they needed to change that model. We've got to make sure that they have what they need and they can continue to flourish, because that's what makes our communities wonderful. Nobody wants to drive through New Albany and all the buildings are dilapidated and empty. We want people there. We want business happening there. We've got to be able to turn our platform around, how we do business, so we can still continue to get the needs of the people, the services, the products to them. So when you go to the polls in November, some of us are doing absentee ballots. Some of us are going to get to a poll by any means necessary. We know what we've got to do to vote.
Got to have a plan.
So what I need you to do when you look for that choice for Indiana House of Representatives, District 72, know that I am here to vote for business, family, education. How do we get our community moving in the right direction so that we can thrive? So that we thrive from the smallest unit of a family to those larger community units, and then as a district and as a state. So please remember this, and when you go to the polls, there is somebody on the ballot who cares. There is somebody on the ballot who is connected. I want to tell you how to reach me, and I'm very serious about this. This is my home phone number, because I am calling people. We are working these phone banks. And Dana, if there's anybody out there watching today who wants to support and get on board with this campaign, we absolutely need you for the phone bank. And people who are on the phone bank are giving out my number. My phone number is 812-920-9021. Let me tell you that again. 812-920-9. I have said it some. Let me get this right.
Let me see. 812-920-9021.
I'm messing it up.
See, I was typing it. While you said it, because I figure if you put it out there, I'll put it in the chat.
725-9021.
812-725-9021. Okay, we fixed that. That's easy.
Because that is my number. So the people who are working with us on the phone banks, they are giving our constituents my number, because I want you to know that I want to be connected to you. I want to be connected. I want you to be able to call me and say, this is what's going on. This is a concern that I have. What can we do to fix this together?
I love it. And where can they find you? What is your email address? Or I'm not your email, but your website. You're giving out personal info. I forgot. What's your website?
So website is the http:// erica4indiana.com. So that's ERICA 4 Indiana.com. Mm-hmm. And yes, I'm on Facebook, Erica Lawrence for state representative. But yes, we are using these phones. We are calling people. We want to connect to you. We want to talk to you. I want to introduce myself. The people who are volunteering on our phone bank want you to know who I am. So please take advantage of an opportunity to have a state rep who is connected, who understands the pleas of the people and what the people need.
I love it.
So we're on social media, Facebook, Erica Lawrence for state rep. We want to know what your needs are and how we can work together to find solutions. If you want someone who has compassion, who has a heart for families, for children, I know, because I'm a part of a family. I know what it's like to, I'm raising children, and they don't want me to say it, but I have senior parents.
Okay.
They don't think they are, though. So, but I have to be concerned about, I'm in that sandwich generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
where I'm caring for my children and for my parents.
Yeah.
And I understand the concerns of seniors and what they need. When people are talking about messing with the mail, and my parents depend on medicine that comes in the mail, see, don't play.
I'll see, you got sister girl on them this then. Because you don't mess with my mama. Don't mess with my... I love it. Hey, don't mess with my parents, man. Look, the some things you just don't play with. You better give it to them, principal. You better give it to him, Principal Erica.
This is serious business. November 3rd, we have to vote like our lives depend on it.
Because our lives do depend on it. The people don't believe it, but we have almost 200,000 people in American citizens who have died. Do you know Canada last month or last week had 0 COVID deaths? Canada. I didn't say Switzerland, Norwegian. I didn't say some European country, Australia, someplace across some water. I said the people that we share the border with. They had 0 COVID deaths last week, and we're having, 1,000 a day? 1,000 a week?
What I need...
Because y'all don't want to wear a mask? Because y'all want to wear masks. The masks are more harmful than the virus. Of course, now people have been giving surgeries for 10, 12 hours for 10, 15 years wearing masks. But you wearing a mask while you in public to protect everybody from dying or getting sick from COVID is just way too much. I'd very seldomly dive into the federal level, but did you hear where our Attorney General said that making the shutdown and making people wear masks was the greatest civil rights violation? Well, I mean, obviously slavery, but it was the greatest civil rights violation since slavery.
No.
These are the people who are in charge. I don't have to tell you. They're saying it themselves. Yes, your life depends on 2020 election, November 3rd.
The world is depending on Americans to make it right.
To make it right. We got to make it right. That's it right there. That's it.
I have too many connections because of the work that I do, the international friendships and relationships that I've cultivated. And they have said the world is waiting on America to make it right.
Handle your business,
we need
Americans.
You to make it right on November the 3rd and make your vote count for people who are compassionate, who care, who are concerned. We have to vote for people who use words to heal, who use words to help, and not use words to demonize or to be rude and ridicule people. That is not getting us anywhere positive. So please understand that it hurts my heart, the rhetoric that I'm hearing from people in our communities, because we are not respecting each other the way that we need to.
Sister girl, we was just talking about that. Like, y'all don't get to hear like before the show starts and the things that we talk about and the level of vitriol that is being spewed. Love has got to be in the room, and you can't just show love to people who have been kind to you. Sometimes you have to show love to people who treated you poorly. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the amount of love is just not saying negative things about them in the streets. You know what I'm saying? What that love looks like is on you, but you got to come from a positive place. I was talking to my buddy Sabay, because sometimes I got to get recharged too. I was talking to my buddy Sabay Martin, and she, reminded me that I shouldn't be saying, the divine has a plan. Whatever that plan is, whether you're religious or not, is irrelevant. But that sometimes whatever your plan is your plan, and no matter how many times other people try to knock you off your plan, it really don't matter if you stay focused on why you doing what you doing. If you are staying focused, if your goal is to improve lives and improve the people of your district, you're going to have that opportunity. It's going to happen. And even if you don't, and I'm not wishing anything bad on you, please know I want you to win. But if for some reason it doesn't work out in our favor, right, you will still be out there working in these communities. That's how I learned. I didn't win my election in 2016, but I've done more good than I could have ever imagined, because now I'm helping as many candidates as I can up and down the state with the platform that I have. And whatever your thing is, you got to give it, and you got to give it 100%. And when people come at you and want to talk crazy and call your names, I remind people all the time, you can't call me no name I didn't already hear at 13 years old. I'm 50 years old. There's nothing you can say about me that I ain't already heard. In fact, that you saying it, when I heard it when I was 13, I heard it from another 13-year-old. So how old are you right now, calling me names? You know what I'm saying? But when you have gotten past that and you recognize that it's about the people, and you're trying to do whatever you can through whatever skill set you have to improve life, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
And what you say is important. My opponent has been in the seat for 8 years. My tagline on our posters says "Time for change."
Yeah,
it's time to change.
Yeah, if he's not pro-family like you are, why would anybody continue to vote for him? That's all I'm saying. It's time for change. Erica, we done killed that hour all by our lonesomes. I know.
There's so much going on.
There is, and there's so much to do.
We've got to help heal people. We've got to help heal our economic condition. We've got to help there's so much work to be done. So we could talk all day.
You and I could talk all day. It would be easy to do. But I know my people are trying not to wear them out with too much, Dana, because, too much of anything make you sick. So
what we need your viewers to do, this campaign is serious business.
Serious business.
I need your viewers to go to my Act Blue site. I need them to make a contribution to this campaign to fuel us to a November victory.
That's it. Click the link.
I need your viewers to call me so that we can get you hooked up to be a volunteer on our phone bank. You can write out postcards as we do our mailings, because we're not going knocking on doors. We are sending things out in the mail. We are making phone calls. We're putting signs up in yards and on properties. We need your viewers to do those things. So absolutely give us the financial fuel for a November victory. Give us your time by volunteering with us and your talent. We absolutely need you.
All right. Y'all heard it. The teacher principal gave y'all a homework assignment. I'm going to need y'all to get on it. Indiana's on there. I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. And we chopped it up for a whole hour. I knew we would. I was like, it ain't going to be no problems. Thank you so much for giving me your time. Good luck to you down there in New Albany. I know District 9 is supporting you down there. I know Adam Dickey, the District 9 chair, is loving on you. And your New Albany chair, he's the one that's been pushing you. And to me anyway. So I don't know what he's doing out there. But I know that every time he gets a chance, he's talking about the great Miss Erica Scott Lawrence. Thank you so much for joining us. Running in District 72. Y'all give her a holler. Indiana's on Dana Black. Turn left. We're bringing this thing to you every week. You see, I added a new discussion. It's going to be a little bit of a lineup change, but I'm going to have the discussion on what is going on in Indianapolis with our young black males. I brought some young black men on to have that conversation who also want to represent you at different levels of local government. Yes, we're going to incorporate those conversations. Also, I've got confirmation from most of my participants in the Power of the Brown and Black. That's not mine. That's Monroe County's. Monroe County and District 9, Latino Caucus, Power of the Brown and Black vote. We're putting that together October 3rd. You'll start seeing some information about that. Also, one last thing. I got all the confirmation for my Latino candidates Turn Left special. Got a date for you. It's coming October the 13th. Yep. We're going to talk to the Latino candidates who are running for office at different levels all over our state, because we have to make sure that we stay unified in this thing. Vote like your life depends on it, but also vote like your neighbor's life depends on it too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong for looking out for your brother. So we're just getting started. Oh, y'all saw I got the congressman too, right? Y'all just want to throw that out there. I just want to throw that out there. The congressman, he gotta love it when he can give you some of your time. So Turn Left is still bringing you the people that want to represent you. We're talking about positive things. Erica brought me back from a dark place today because I wanted to go in on them Republicans and she wouldn't let me. But keep watching, y'all. There's enough pie for everybody. I will holler at y'all next week. Peace.